Welcome to the Teach Big podcast, where big energy, big ideas, and big results are just the beginning. I'm your host, Randi Whitney, and whether you're in year 1 or year 20, we're here to help you teach big in every single way. That's right, B-I-G, teach big. Here, education is inspired, energy is required, and the support for teachers is absolutely non-negotiable. I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, share, comment, subscribe, so that you too can become a part of the Teach Big family. This episode takes on something rather very personal to many teachers, and it's how they decorate their rooms. How are the posters reflecting on all of us? Are our classroom posters also our classroom promises? Let's see. So welcome back to the Teach Big podcast, the place where we lean into our content, our craft, and our compliment. I'm Randi Whitney, and today's episode is all about the third prong of the Teach Big mission statement. So let's review that mission statement. Remember, it's helping all teachers become experts in their content, craft, and compliment so that confidence and cognition soar for all people. So when we talk about compliments, it doesn't mean just to say, oh, I think your shirt's cute. That's not what I mean. It means, how does your classroom complement your personality and your teaching style? How does your classroom decorations complement your education of your kids? How is it helping them? Is it just because it's a cute sign, or is it helping them learn something? So that's right. It's not praise, it's not fluff, but it is intentional, meaningful compliments. The kind we give our students out loud in writing, and yes, even on the walls of our classroom. The title of this episode is one that I hold dear to my heart: Posters to Passion, turning our classroom posters into classroom promises. Because if we're being honest, sometimes those posters on our walls are just decorations. And if we're not actively using them to speak life into our students, then we are missing a powerful opportunity. But let me tell you where this realization really hit me. It was a bright morning. I'll never, ever forget it. I had been invited to a brand new school building. It was beautiful. Their furniture was brand new. Their building was brand new. Everything felt so new and so fresh and so lovely. As I would walk up and down the halls, finding the room where I was going to do the presentation for my teachers, I noticed all the signs on the walls. Be kind, we love you, you're welcome here. So many encouraging words. It was really an uplifting place to be. As I arrived in the room, I was putting out all of my supplies. And, I'm one of those teachers, I'm not just going to come in and just tell you what to do. I want to show you. I want you to visualize it. So I have a ton of manipulatives that I bring with me. I'm setting all of these manipulatives up. And as the teachers are filing in, you know what they were doing? They were talking crummy about kids. That hurts. They were literally talking about kids, and they weren't saying how amazing they were, or how brilliant they were, or how quick at learning they are, or how encouraging they were to each other down the hall. It wasn't like that. In fact, one of them said, and I know you've heard teachers say this before, oh, everything can be explained because of his mom. Let me tell you, that apple, it just does not fall far from the tree. We've all heard that. But when I heard it that day, I thought, wow, I was so encouraged when I walked into this building. It was beautiful. It was clean. It was new. And it had great signs all over the walls. But the posters were not promises. When our posters say you matter, or when the posters say you are loved, or when the posters say you got this, if we're not matching the message from our heart to the message that is on the wall, we have missed a valuable opportunity. I was discouraged that day, but it also, on my way home, as I was driving, I had a long drive home, I thought to myself, that's it. I have to address this. I can't just sit on this information. I need to stop and think about this, because aren't we all a little bit guilty of that? You know, we make our classrooms gorgeous and beautiful, and we take so much time to do that. But are the posters our passion, or are they just decoration? So I wrote a book about it called Posters to Passion. This book encapsulates the third prong of the Teach Big mission, which is compliments. It's all about the words we choose, the tone we carry, the visuals we surround our students with, and the daily messages that we deliver, whether we mean to or not. In the book, we dive into the 4 main categories of classroom posters. And today, I want to walk you through those categories, not just to define them, but to have you ask yourself this: are you using each of these posters intentionally, or are they just a decor? Is it just, hey, I'm a teacher, so I'm supposed to have the alphabet above my chalkboard kind of feel? So category 1 is the everyday poster. These are the anchor charts, the reminders, the expectations. They're the raise your hand, be ready to learn, turn your work in here kind of posters. They keep the room flowing. They represent consistency. But here's the secret. If we want students to follow them, they need to feel that they have ownership in them. So instead of hanging them all in the days before our students even grace our doors, what if we start the year with a pretty blank classroom? Hang the super necessary things that we have to hang by law, for example, where to go in case of a fire. But what if we don't decorate the rest of it? What if we have all those posters on standby, and then we ask our students, where do you think I should hang this poster? Should I hang it up high, or should I hang it right here? Or this wall, or that wall? What if we're doing that with our kids, and they then have ownership in how our room looks? It's funny. I think back to my husband and I and all the years that we've been married. He always says, oh, honey, you can decorate it however you want. You just go in there and decorate it however you want. And he really does mean it. But when I think of my classroom, I think, we need to give kids some opportunities to have ownership in where they want everything. And then it feels like them. It really does. So now they're not just posters. They do become promises. So category 2 is the educational kind of poster. These are your academic helpers, your phonics charts, your parts of speech, your math strategies, your writing process steps. And yes, they're important. Taking nothing away from that, they are important. But again, they are static. And when posters become static, students stop seeing them. They become a part of what's in the room, and they don't even think about them anymore. So what's the fix? Let's let students decide where we hang them, and let's let them help us create them. That will help them if they get to be a part of the creating of it. Let's let students decide where we hang them, when we hang them, and what we put on them. Give a group the job of making a suffix anchor chart. Have another group build the steps to a writing summary. And then when you hang them, it means something. The students made them, and you just facilitated. So that's the educational poster. Now there's another type of poster. It's called the encouraging poster. This is where compliments live. These are the you matter, you're capable, mistakes mean that you're trying type of messages. And hear me when I say this, these are not fluff. These are fuel. But again, we must back them up. If we have a poster that says, be kind, then we better model that kindness in how we correct them, how we redirect them, and how we lift them up. Because if not, we are sending mixed messages to kids. It's kind of like when you say, I love you so much. But if you do it in a gruff voice and big shoulders back, I love you. You're like, whoa, I'm not sure if you love me or not. That was a little scary. So when the body language and the tone and the voice, everything, facial features aren't all matching, it sends a mixed message. Same concept applies here. If what we hang on the wall does not match the message from our heart and our minds and our bodies and our voices, then that is a mixed message. So ask yourself this: do my words echo my walls? Because when they do, students start to believe them. And that is the first step in the posters becoming the promise. Then there's category 4. This is the emergency poster. Oh, so necessary. This one is often overlooked. Emergency posters are the procedures for fire drills, lockdowns, safety, but also emotional emergencies. Do your students know what to do when they're overwhelmed? Do they have a visual or reminder that says, take a breath, ask for help, find a safe place? These posters protect more than our bodies. They're protecting our hearts. So yes, we need our fire escape plans, but we also need what to do when our heart feels heavy too. These are promises of protection, and they matter more than you really could ever even know. So let's ask ourselves the big question: what should we do with all of this knowledge? So here is my challenge to you. Don't hang everything on the first day of school on your walls. Let your students help decide what gets added to the walls. Let the room evolve with the growth of your class. That way, when you say, this is our room, you really mean it. It's not your classroom. It's your class's classroom. And your students will feel that. Remember, classrooms are not bulletin boards. They're communities. And everything we hang should reflect that. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but I love my colorful bulletin board themes, Randi. Me too. I'm not asking that you strip the walls bare. I'm asking you to give meaning to what is there. Maybe the "You Are Brave" poster stays up all year, but now you refer to it every time a student takes a risk. What if instead of it just being decoration, it's part of the education? So if a student takes a risk, say, you are living out that poster. You're doing it. You got it. That poster in you, you're like a team. Maybe your verb tense chart stays up, but now students add examples to it as the week goes on. Maybe you leave a space for a compliment corner where you and your students write anonymous praise for each other, or maybe little sticky notes that have anonymous praise notes to one another. You see, it's not just about the decoration. It's about the education of the poster. Use your walls wisely. It's valuable real estate. Don't overclutter everything unless that clutter is meaningful to you. Use something on your walls every single day. So let me leave you with this. What are your walls saying? Do your posters match your passion? Do your compliments match your classroom culture? Because when they do, your walls, your words, your work, all are speaking the same language. Your students don't just put them in the back of their head. They then bring them to the front, and they're learning what's on those posters. And you're teaching a message of trust. You're teaching a message that if I say this to you, whether it's from my mouth or from a wall that I decorated, I promise to keep that promise to you. Whether it is an educational poster, an encouraging poster, an emergency poster, it's there for a reason, and it's there to communicate something important to you. And we're going to look at them and use them every single day. I encourage you to have a station or two where there's a desk in front of a poster that you're hanging, and in front of that poster there's activities on the desk, stations around the corners or the back of the room where students finish early. They can go to that poster. Feel your passion for them, that you set up a station that uses a poster to help them learn something further or new. So stations are very powerful places for posters. Also keep in mind that if we're not going to use the poster, do not put it up. Anything but what about the cute boho decorations I like so much? Well, if that is to share with your students something special about you and make a connection with them and say, these are my favorite colors, what are your favorite colors? Then we're making connections. Not a single thing should be stapled or sticky tacked or taped to your walls that you don't talk about. Make sure if you tape it, you talk about it. Because when you do your walls, your words, your work, they speak the same language as we just said, and students aren't just there to observe them, they're there to learn from them. Remember, posters aren't decorations, they are declarations of education. Now we're not just decorating, we're engaging. We're not just teaching, we're building trust through those posters. We're not just hanging posters, we're creating passions. Our posters are everyday tools, educational guides, encouraging truths, and emergency supports. And most of all, they are your promises to your student. So let's keep those promises. Let's teach big. And until next time, I'm Randi Whitney cheering you on as you turn your classroom into a place where every poster is your personal promise. And don't forget, you can grab your copy of Posters to Passion, my book all about this, obviously going into much more detail than I can in a podcast, at Amazon.com. And visit teachbig.com for my blogs, activities, and yes, posters, and hundreds of other materials. And a lot of them are even free because your passion is your poster. Let's keep the promises of our posters. Thanks for joining me today. If this message inspired you, share it with a colleague, or better yet, bring it back to your own classroom where you can use it with your whole heart. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And until next time, think big, teach big, and believe in the greatness that is already within you.